Welcome back to Masterpiece or Disasterpeace, the show where we take one of your favorite movies and see if they are either a masterpiece or a disaster piece. Today we are going to be using the rating as always. We are going to be using the ratings terrible, bad, okay, pretty good, really good, and awesome. Well, let's see if this movie is a masterpiece or disasterpiece. So in 2006, when it was announced that there was going to be a James Bond reboot starring Daniel Craig, a lot of people weren't that interested. Mostly, why? Because he was blonde, and apparently nobody wanted a blonde Bond. Don't ask me why. I don't know either. But, everybody suspected it was probably just going to be, some piece of crap, Nobody was actually, gonna like it. It's just going to be some silly James Bond reboot that no one's really going to care about or is going to be that good. Well, boy, they were wrong. The film was not just good, it was awesome. It was pretty darn good, and right after the film release and they saw it in theaters, nobody ever mentioned again that they had criticized the movie that it was going to be bad, because it was pretty good. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good, but I mean, sure, a few things about it didn't quite click for me. It's definitely not my favorite James Bond movie by any means, but it definitely is good and definitely worth watching. So let's take a look at Casino Royale. Now, the movie starts off in black and white. Wait, hold on a minute. Black and white? Wait, are you really trying to tell me that 2006 was that long ago? And so basically Bond is being talked to by a criminal, and basically their conversation is just like, so the criminal is just like, so what did you do to that guy? And he's just like, I brutally killed him. So what did you do to that other guy? Brutally stabbed him. So what did you do to that other guy? I cracked his skull with a toilet. Okay then. And so, then he shoots him. And, that's that. So, in the next scene, we are introduced to our awesome Bond villain. Dude, just look at that guy's eye. That's sick. His eye. That's sick. Yeah, but of course, just like all other Bond villains, to show exactly just how evil he is, they have a scene where he does what villains do best. He just walks around and frowns. Not exactly the best way to make a villain look intimidating. That just because he looks intimidating, that he also has to, do villain stuff, right? And now in the next scene, we see Bond again, and now he's chasing this dude. And now this scene is a really good action scene, very action packed first act. I will say. Pretty good action scene. I definitely laughed at the part where he just falls off a 2-story building and then he just shakes it off like it's nothing. He just oh my god, I just fell off a 2-story building. I must have broken my hip or broken some kind of bone. Something must be bleeding. Oh well, who cares? And then he just goes chasing him. And so now, James Bond being tough is probably a good thing, but not always. You see, in this scene, he lights a bunch of guys on fire and blows them up when he was and including that guy that he was chasing, he was supposed to bring him in alive so that they could question him. So, so he may be tough, but, he didn't complete the mission. So, and so the next thing he goes to the beach because, I don't actually remember why, but, he has to go to the beach and so he starts flirting with this girl, some stuff happens and he ends up, at nighttime and chasing this guy. At an airport. It's a pretty good fight scene, there's a truck fight, like it's a fight like on a truck, kind a lot like Raiders of the Lost Ark, pretty darn good. He almost crashes into a plane, but luckily not. And so then at the end, Bond, Bond, can't stop him, and so he's about to detonate the bomb that's right near Bond, but it turns out he switched it, and so he blows himself up. It's good. It's good. And so now it's time to guess what crazy action scene or whatever is going to happen next. What's going to happen next is there's going to be a battle. What's going on. What's going to happen. There's probably going to be some like big fight scene with that bad guy. Or something like that. It's going to be really awesome. Judging on how this movie's been so far, probably pretty action packed. Or he could just play a game of poker. I guess that's pretty good too. But I mean, seriously, out of anything they could have done with this scene, they had to make it poker. They made James Bond play a game of poker for I'm not even kidding, a whole 30 minutes of the movie of just him playing poker. Yeah, I mean, the stakes are pretty high because it's so much money from the government, when it's the bad guy wins, he's gonna be able to I don't know, to conquer the world, whatever he wants to, whatever bad guys want to do, that stuff. Am I right? Yeah, and there's also this girl named Vesper, but unlike all of Bond's other girlfriends in previous movies, she actually acts like a human. She's not just some fangirl that just falls in love with him at first sight. No, she's actually acts like a human. She's actually a human. And for a girl in a James Bond movie, that's saying a lot. Good job, Casino Royale. Good job. That's good. And then so in the next scene, the villain gets attacked by another villain. Wait, hold on a minute. This is supposed to be just the intimidating bad guy of the movie. Bond villains are supposed to be intimidating. But if you don't show a Bond villain just destroying anything or destroying anyone, and you literally show him almost being killed by another villain, how is that supposed to be intimidating? How am I supposed to fear this villain if he doesn't do anything intimidating, and he's actually done something intimidating too? He gets attacked. He's the one that got attacked. He's not attacking anyone. What? How is that a Bond villain? Now, so basically, I just know something. This movie kind of takes a lot of classic Bond tropes and flips them all upside down on their heads, on their flippin' heads, and it's in some cases that can be good. For example, Bond, he's not just some, lighthearted, friendly guy, he's actually a very serious, assassin that's about to get the job done. And instead of just using, the classic, Bond formula, it switches that around, and, it doesn't just have, the classic, Bond formula, just, there's a bad guy, and then Bond hooks up with a girl, and then he fights the bad guy, and then blah blah blah. No, maybe it kind of flips that on its head, which I think is good. The villain though, it kind of flips the villain on his head, making him not intimidating anymore. Yeah, that didn't work so well. But for the most part, I like what they're doing. Just taking our expectations and totally subverting them. I like that. But yeah, and so long story short, the poker game just kind of ends. It just kind of abruptly ends. Bond wins, I think, but yeah, it just kind of abruptly ends. Strangely enough, but I think that the bad guy loses because then he kidnaps that Vesper girl, and so Bond goes after them and tries to get her back, and then the most uncomfortable scene in the whole movie. You see. So he ties Bond to a chair, and then Bond is naked. By the way, but don't worry, they don't but don't worry, it's not rated R. Like they don't show anything, and then whips him in the nuts. It's just so hard to watch. It's just. But I will admit, I don't know if this is a compliment or not a compliment, but this is the closest thing to an R-rated James Bond movie that we've gotten. Then all of a sudden, this dude comes and shoots him in the frickin' head. He shoots the bad guy in the frickin' head. I probably should have specified that yeah, he shoots the bad guy in the frickin' head. Who? I don't know. Why? I don't know. It's kind of random, but hey, Bond and Vesper escape, so that's good. Yeah, see, and then the next part, so the next part's actually really hilarious because they try and make you think that Bond is actually just going to retire, that James Bond is just going to retire and just live with Vesper. It's like, dude, it's like he's James freaking Bond. Why would he ever do it? I mean, besides, this is the first movie in the Daniel Creg series, and yeah. That'd be honest, I actually kind of wish that they'd stopped it here because Quantum of the Solace, but that's a topic for another video. But yeah, but seriously, but it's just kind of hilarious because they actually try and trick you into thinking that Bond is retiring and just settling down, which is just hilarious. And so now the next act is really well done, and actually kind of emotional, I will admit. But yeah, you see, but the next act is very well done. But basically, now it's pretty simple. Okay, Vesper betrays Bond. Like a few of us probably already saw this coming. Maybe, but they do it. But the way that they execute it is actually pretty well done. But basically, See, so Bond notices that one day Vesper is getting the money that they won from the casino or something. I don't know. It's government money. So they're not so they're supposed to turn it to the government or something. I don't. They don't really make that very clear, but yeah. And so anyway, See, so Bond follows her. Then there's these bad guys there, and then so Bond and the bad guys have a big fight, and then a building explodes. And I should probably make it very clear, they're in Venice, so a building exploded, then starts sinking, and it's really, really epic. It's really, really good. And the way they it, you see, because they had the bad guy go out at the end of the second act. No, not the third act, but the second act. And then you have the third act, which has a surprise ending. And it's I know. So but just again, thing about the way that this movie is takes all the classic Bond tropes and flips them upside down. That's also one of them. But yeah, and so basically, Vesper betrays Bond and then commits suicide for some reason. I don't know. I guess they wanted an emotional scene for Bond, or something. Don't ask me why. Okay, guys. But yeah, and then that's it. And then See, and so now, so they want to find out, who is really behind all of this, who is really behind it all, and who is really trying to remember that's a cloudy eye guy. It's who was he really working for? Well, they don't know, but they go and question the guy that killed the cloudy eye guy, which is kind of weird because he's the guy that killed him. So I think that he would be a good guy if but he's kind of like a good guy if he killed them because like he saved them. It's I don't know. It's really weird. And then you have the classic line, Bond, James Bond, and then credits. So overall, is this movie a masterpiece or a disaster? Well, you see, like it's a pretty darn good movie. You know, I'd say either a pretty good. I'd give it a really good. You know what? I'd give it a really good on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 7. Yeah, you know, yeah, but like that. Yeah, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty darn good. But overall, it kind of like it really changed the way that we look at James Bond movies, and it added something new to the franchise. Like you know, basically I mean, now no offense to the movies that came out like the decade before it, but you know, well, not like the decade, but. But just like the few years before it. But this is the movie that saved the James Bond franchise. I think that we can all agree this movie saved the franchise, and so for that, it's pretty darn good, you know. And I think that this is definitely should definitely be in like the top 5 James Bond movies, I'd say. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Masterpiece or Disasterpeace. My name is Friendly Rockman. Please subscribe to the channel for more movie review videos, theory videos, and stuff like that. We also do gaming videos on Twitch and also on YouTube. And so, yeah, guys, I'll see you next time. And consider subscribing, because you can always change your mind later, unless you're James Bond, because then you wouldn't have enough time to watch YouTube.